reason I'm doing that because I would like to wake up out of this nightmare. Frick, man. And you know the title of this? As of right now, there's nothing for me to say. There's nothing for me to say about this. The Lion King 2019 remake. What more can I say about this goddamn piece of shit? And don't get me wrong. I love Disney. I've loved Disney growing up. It's probably a childhood thing for a lot of kids who, like me, grew up with it, watching the Disney films. I like a whole bunch of... I love most of the ones that came out in the 90s. Like I said, from Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Hercules, Pocahontas, even Hunchback of Notre Dame, then Tarzan, which I've reviewed, I love to death. Even The Little Mermaid, which I also reviewed, which I love to death, and the sequel, which Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea, miles better than this flick. This goddamn flick. Little Mermaid 2, even Mulan 2, which I reviewed last year. People say that's as bad, though. That's still miles better than this goddamn flick. And I'm not even exaggerating. I'm saying right here with a freaking straight face. The Lion King remake. Well, what more I can say about the 1994? I've reviewed it long ago, years ago. It's a masterpiece. Considered one of the best films of all time, even the same thing as considered one of the best animated films of all time. I love Lion King to death. It's also one of my all-time favorite movies of all time. Right here. I still have the 2-disc special edition, the Platinum edition. Love this one to death. It's not even just a hell of a classic, but it's a Disney masterpiece. I know Disney's been making bank on doing these live-action remakes. I know it was a matter of time when they would eventually do this one, which, like I said, I'm always a pain in the ass on remakes and all this stuff, though, but, yeah. But there's certain films that, when the films like originals are considered masterpieces, a true classic, even for a Disney film as well, why? What more can I say about this film? About this 2019 remake? It's pretty much 95% beat for beat, shot for shot remake. This film has no heart to it. It's a heartless, soulless remake that has nothing compared what this film did. And I have to say, this is like one of the most heartless and soulless remakes I've ever seen. Ever. And this one right here, the sequel, which is some people are not fans of, but I enjoyed the sequel. This direct-to-video sequel. This is also miles better than this remake. Miles better. Because for most part, because what more can I say? Every time I get much into it, because it's pretty much the same freaking movie of the original movie. It's the same thing, beat for beat. The opening sequence, which I just saw an article. Oh, the only thing that's live action, the only shot that was live action is when the sun was rising over Africa. I just saw that earlier today. That director Jon Favreau, who not only played Happy Hogan in the MCU films, which I like him as an actor too, but as a director though, I like Seth Rogan. I do. I like Seth Rogan. I think it's a little bit underrated for especially like in the world of Jumanji. I like Elf with Will Ferrell. The Jungle Book, which the remake of the 2016 remake of Jungle Book, which I think as the time went on, I think it's gone down for me still. But this film, this is a straight up shot for shot remake. But the same, I saw an article just earlier today that Jon Favreau said that the only shot that was not CG'd, only live action, was when the sun was rising up, the opening of the movie, you know, as Tim Rice's of Circle of Life, you know, that's a iconic song. Yeah, as the sun is going up over the horizon, that's the only one shot that was not live action. Wow. And I'll still give the film one thing. The special effects, the CGI, trying to be make the animals like as photorealistic realistic as possible. I commend from that, especially for the amount of the budget this film was. But the thing is, though, pretty visual effects cannot save the movie. You can't just rely on good or great special effects to save your movie for you. You can't. Because it's the story and the characters that are the glue that hold the film together. And I got none of that. None of the characters in this movie, from the original movie, are soulless. They're bland and boring. And that's another problem with the great visual effects, trying to make them as full realistic as possible. The animals, yeah, it's live action still, but the animals. That's a big problem with this film. The animals, the faces of the animals, they're expressionless, emotionless, boring looks. That's what they are. They show no emotion whatsoever because they're supposed to be real animals. Because real animals don't have like the human emotion facials that. What do you think this movie had? This film had a lot of heart and emotion and deep sympathy for our characters. The facial expressions are just as important as this in this movie as nothing was like in this remake. Like, a good expression for facial, right? For emotional, facial, whatever, that's what this one was lacking. Take the example of the famous Stampede, which in this remake, yeah. The famous Stampede in this movie, I'm keep holding this because I love this one to death. The horror expression, the shock and horror expression that Simba gave as a Stampede, is a camera like, well, not camera in the movie, but so it zooms in and he sees that horror look, the terror look in its face as the Stampede is coming towards him. What is it as a remake? The young Simba in this remake, just straightforward, boring face. Doesn't have because real animals don't have that. That's what they're trying to go for in this movie. Give him some freaking emotion to him. That's the thing with this film. The film was so lacking because every single animal had a boring face on, and this made him bland and boring in general. Like the terror look in Simba's face when the Stampede was coming towards him, like, or when he lost his father, you know, Mufasa, or even the scene later when when Rafiki wanted to show him his father, seeing his father in the clouds, right? And Mufasa's talking, saying, you've forgotten me, And Simba in this movie, showing how, what his father is the look he gives, And then what happens in here? The Simba in this movie, he's just looking like, Because, like I said, I keep on saying, the animals don't, because it's supposed to be realistic animals, right? Because they don't have emotion, right? Yeah, it goes a little time, And even James Earl Jones, which I thought it would be because I probably said in to my other videos that he would he's coming back as Mufasa, right? I know James Earl Jones, he's up there in age. I know he's old now. You can't help about that though. But but in this role, now that I hear him more in this movie, as I see the film now, he sounds so tired now, and just I couldn't. Maybe it was me. His heart was not into it. Maybe because he knows it's the same thing he was reading as he did for the original movie, and probably did it for the nostalgia. That's another epitome of this one. The remake of this is an epitome of nostalgia up the ass, basically. From everything from Hans Zimmer's music to the songs from Tim Rice and Elton John. It's pretty much like a prime example of nostalgia, the movie. Or a perfect, this film could have been just one big giant Animal Planet documentary. That's what it is. It's like it's one big budgeted Animal Planet documentary mixed in with nostalgia, the movie. And I guess, Disney's happy about it. They're happy about it because it broke records. It made a huge opening weekend. It made about like 185 million opening weekend. It broke Harry Potter, The Deathly Hallows Part 2's opening weekend for the highest debut in July. And I think also Incredibles 2 for the highest debut for a PG-rated film. So yeah, and as I look at the numbers right now, it's already made over 700 million worldwide. It's going to make $1 billion. I know that for a fact. And it's already going to surpass the original Lion King as well. But what am I to complain about? Because Disney's already happy about it. The film has made money now because of the title. Because we know the Lion King is such an iconic name, it's already going to make over $1 billion. As of right now, this is the worst film I've seen this year. Because growing up loving this film to death as not only a childhood classic but as a Disney masterpiece itself, I'm insulted by this. And this year, I haven't seen that too many bad films. I mean, Captain Marvel, I did not like. I hated Captain Marvel. That's not because Marvel's owned by Disney. That's a Disney film I don't like. That's another one I don't like. I didn't like Captain Marvel. What else? I'm trying to think of some other stuff that I really did not like. Well, I'm sure probably. Some people will probably get pissed at me for saying this though, but I don't like Avengers Endgame. I'll say it right now. Although let's say though, I don't hate the movie so much that makes me enraged. I mean, Captain Marvel is much worse. It is. I mean, I will also say Avengers Endgame I do like a lot better than Iron Man 3, Thor: The Dark World, or Captain Marvel, or I think it's much better than Black Panther. I think I'll say I even like this than Iron Man 2 as well. I mean, Iron Man 2 is alright, I say. But it was like a little bit lackluster, so I'll probably say it's better than Iron Man 2. So I don't full on hate Avengers thing. I do there's stuff I liked in Endgame. I do. But there's just a couple of things that just makes me nitpicking more, so I'll probably say because there's not many films I like this year, but it's probably the end of the year. I'll probably say it's not gonna be in my top 5. I'll give it that. I mean, maybe I'll put it as 10. So it's my least of the worst favorites. So I don't full on hate Avengers Endgame. There's just a couple of things that really hurts the film for me. So, but I don't full. So people say don't get pissed at me. Don't get your panties in a bunch. So I don't full on hate the movie. It's like a simple dislike. Okay. But I say Captain Marvel's much worse. Black Panther is much worse. So the ones that are worse than that, I put those Avengers Endgame above those other ones. So, but I'm just pointing out because I would probably even say Endgame. I'll probably even say Endgame is much better than this Lion King remake. I'll probably even say that Avengers Endgame is much better than this movie. But getting back on the subject at hand, because there hasn't been that too many films I've liked this year, so I'm just pointing out. But as the rest of the year goes, I probably won't even put it in my worst list this year, if the way this year goes. So who knows? But I know Captain Marvel is definitely on my list. It's already in my top 3, I would say. But getting back to the subject on hand, what more can I say about this movie? Like I said, it's the same freaking movie, except the little changes they did. Because since I have this film long since memorized in my freaking brain, I can notice easily the little changes they did. Okay, number one, Zazu. Like, this is supposed to be a serious animal movie, right, and realistic. Like, okay, he doesn't get captured by Scar. He doesn't, during a stampede, he doesn't get knocked out by Scar and put in a little bony cage. He doesn't, not that. He pops in and out to say some stuff throughout the movie. And Be Prepared, the iconic song that Jeremy Irons sings. I think originally they did not want to put that in the movie. Why? Because that's such a classic song, a villainous song. Be prepared. Yeah, but I guess some fans will be pissed about that. So they basically shoehorned the song in, and it's very short. It only lasts about 30 seconds. It only lasts about 30 seconds. And what else? The hyenas, for the most part, they were not even laughing like the hyenas were in the original. And also, speaking of the hyenas, like Shenzi, she's now like the leader of this pack of hyenas, and working with Scar. Now, like as Scar's henchmen, no, there's like a separate pack. There's two separate villains, like Scar and Shenzi, because she is a leader of the hyenas and wants to work together with Scar. And the other difference is like, when I hated this, I had a gut feeling they would do this. For that. Yes, I'm gonna do this to calm my nerves down. Okay, when Timon and Pumbaa are singing the classic Hakuna Matata. Remember when Pumbaa was singing about with some part with the watering holes, like he can clear a savannah after every meal. I was sad to the soul. I was in stay wherever. Remember it's like, it's like I'm jumbling words again. When he said every time that I, and Timon's like, Pumbaa, not in front of the kids. Oh, sorry. Guess what? He said the freaking word in this movie. Seth Rogan as Pumbaa. He's like, every time that I farted, and he's like, well, aren't you, he's telling Timon, well, aren't you gonna stop me? No. Because nowadays everything has to have say the word fart or hear the fart noises with the piss and shit jokes, or even the fart jokes as well. Fart jokes, or even say the word farted. I was like, when I saw this, like, oh, every time that I farted, I was like, Pumbaa, not in front of the kids in the original movie. I'm like, yeah, I seriously had a gut feeling that they were gonna not go that route in the original movie. I just had a real gut feeling. And a lot of times my instincts are never wrong on certain things. Although I can be wrong on a lot of things, but sometimes certain little things I just like, I'm not wrong on things because of course people like that stuff. People like that type of humor, I guess. They like to hear the fart jokes and even say the word farted. So that's not a difference. And then when they went back to Pride Rock and they make the distraction, of course, when Timon is like doing the dancing the hula, hoo-ah, Of course, they're not gonna put that in there because it'd be too silly to see in a live action remake. So he just says, "Oh, here's your dinner," and he's doing this rendition of "Be My Guest" from Beauty and the Beast. It's like, "Here's your dinner, be our guest," and then and they run away. Yeah. And also Nala as well. She has more screen time too. Like, because how when Timon and Pumbaa were separated, right? And Nala goes after Pumbaa. Why would she? How would she get there? By herself? Oh, in this remake. Oh, she with the help of Zazu, to distract Scar and the other hyenas. That's how she gets away to go for help. So that's how she ended up by herself, and that's how she gets to the place where Simba, Timon, and Pumbaa are. God. I'm not explaining those movies because it's the same freaking movie we've seen as the original movie, except that those 5%. It's 90%. It's 95% shot for shot, beat for beat remake with a 5% of those small changes they did. There's no reason we talk about it because it's the same freaking movie. I mean, this reminds me of the Psycho remake from 1998. I reviewed that. Yeah, I also reviewed that towards the end of last year. Yeah. That was a straight up shot for shot, beat for beat remake with only just a little slight changes. You just remind me of another shitty remake. But yeah, that was also the same thing that did the shot for shot remake. Doing that just makes me want to freaking burp on the movie. That's what I'm doing, burp on it. So, and also I gotta mention the voice cast. Donald Glover is the older Simba. I didn't mind Donald Glover, but he doesn't have to capture the same what Matthew Broderick did in the original. Matthew Broderick, I enjoyed his Simba a lot growing up. I loved Matthew Broderick. Donald Glover's not got the same thing with Matthew Broderick. And what else? Scar. Chiwetel Ejiofor, who plays Mordo from Doctor Strange. He was in the bad guy in Serenity, the spin-off of Firefly with Nathan Fillion. Also, he was in 2012. And the film Red Belt. But he voices Scar. He's not Jeremy Irons. I think everyone will agree that I like Chiwetel Ejiofor as an actor, but just he does not capture the same magic what Jeremy Irons did when he voiced Scar, and just yeah, he's just not Jeremy Irons. Like I said, James Earl Jones, he sounds like he's tired, and just he's doing it just for the nostalgia of the original. Freaking Beyonce, I did not care for. I did not like. I thought she was a wrong choice to voice as Nala. I mean, I like some of her songs, Beyonce, but she was the wrong choice for voice as Nala. And speaking of that, there's another difference in this film. Do you know? Because you got Tim Rice's with Tim Rice's lyrics and Hans Zimmer's score, right? When after in the original, when Simba realizes who he is now and he has to go back to Pride Rock, you see him running through the desert with the score playing. Oh, that's changed up now because, and that's another problem. This film was way too freaking long. This film, like the original film, was much shorter, and this film was close to 2 hours long. So they really extended how he's running through the desert now. They extended that bit. Even they extended the bit where when Simba, of course in the original when he laid down the flower petals, which back then the controversy was to spell the word sex, But beside that though, how that stuff blew all the way to Rafiki the baboon. Well, here except it's a piece of Simba's mane that floats off though, but they extended that way too much, or how it gets to Rafiki. They extended that way too much. Same thing, extended way too much when someone was running back to Pride Rock. But getting back, the thing is though, they changed instead of that song that was playing during that, it was said it's Beyonce singing, basically to promote her new song called Spirit. Yeah, that song is playing as Simba's running. I'm like, great. Just really great. Just to promote your next song. But Beyonce, I did not care for. At all. Wrong voice choice. And Seth Rogan as Pumbaa. I forgot the guy's name who voiced Pumbaa. What was his name? It was Ernie. I can't remember one. Just give me a second. Yeah, Ernie Sabala as Pumbaa. Not as iconic voice as him. And neither is Nathan Lane as Timon, voiced by Billy Eichner. Not as iconic as neither Nathan Lane or Ernie Sabala. And then, who else? I forget. Keegan Key of Key and Peele. He's one of the voices of the hyenas. The hyenas are so forgettable in this movie. Not as iconic as with Shinzi Banzai and Ed. And there's no Ed in this movie. It's a different name now. So, not the same voice like with Cheech Marin or Whoopi Goldberg. The hyenas are forgettable in this movie. Lame villains. And well, why also another thing is why I say about this film is so heartless and soulless. I felt nothing the magic of the original. Like when Mufasa's death. Now we all know Mufasa's death is considered one of the most darkest and also the saddest, impactful deaths. Not just in films in general, but as well as for Disney, right? When Mufasa died in this movie, I felt nothing of that. Even Mufasa screams when he screams to his death, I felt nothing of that. And even the person who does voice young Simba, man, it's just what was his name? Who voiced Simba originally? No, he was the kid from Home Improvement. I gotta look the crap up again. Jonathan Taylor Thomas as young Simba. Here, I don't know who this kid name is who voices in this movie. I'm sorry, he's not good. I'm sorry. And even the point where when Mufasa fell to his death, and when Simba yelled no, I felt nothing of that either, and I just felt that the tone, the way he said no, was just so off. It felt so off. It didn't have the impact that what Jonathan Taylor Thomas did when he said that in the original. Because when he gave it full no. Here it was like no. I'm getting a freaking headache now. I don't know what more I can say about this. But yeah, like I said, it's the same freaking movie. Oh, and another difference. I forget. Rafiki. He doesn't carry his stick throughout the whole entire movie. He just grabs it just for the fight at the end of the movie. That's another thing. And also, Pumbaa in the remake, they don't piss off Pumbaa with calling him Pig. You know, the original's like, are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? They called me Mr. Pig! Ah! Doesn't say that in this movie. No. And even when Simba was hanging off the cliff of Prorok as the fires are going, and when Scar told he killed his father, right? This Simba here doesn't jump off, enraged to pin down Mufasa, Scar, and yell murderer like the original, because that's another thing with emotion. Simba got so enraged that he found out that he killed his father. He goes, murderer! Nothing like that in the original either, in this remake either. He didn't even do that. He doesn't go yell a murderer in a fit of rage. Nothing. Like I said, this film was so heartless and very soulless. This is one of the worst. I would say this is one of the worst remakes I've seen. And another thing, I just recently picked this up because I saw it earlier this year. I just picked this up, and to my surprise, my brother, he liked this movie. To my surprise, this film, I just recently just picked this up. I'll show this again when I do like a DVD update, but I just want to pick this up. I just want to quickly show because, okay, this film, yeah, we all know the original Dumbo was better, right? I reviewed the original Dumbo when I did since the first teaser that came out back in last year November. But the thing is though, this film did something different, a little bit different with this film. It wasn't exactly a carbon copy of the original. It took a little different turn for this film. So, and Tim Burton, Tim Burton, it's not as well. I would say I like this better than his 2010 version of Alice in Wonderland. I'll still say that. And I'll say this remake of Dumbo is better than the 2010s of the Tim Burton did of Alice in Wonderland, and I think it's a lot better than this freaking remake. Yeah, this film got mixed reviews as well, like this film did, because I knew it was not gonna hold it to get the same pass the original film did. But this film got the same like mixed ratings that this remake that the Lion King remake did, though. But I felt it was much better than this remake, and people said, I can understand. This one I can understand what people said. This one didn't have the heart like the original two, which I understand though. But at least the I know that sometimes being different doesn't mean isn't always good though. But yeah, it did something different. And it wasn't an exact beat for beat, shot for shot remake, carbon copy of the original Dumbo. So I will give it that with the pass with this. And to my surprise, my brother liked this movie. Yeah, so, and even so, I didn't mind this Dumbo remake. I did not mind it. It's not great. Didn't love it, but I didn't mind this one. Plus, because I like Michael Keaton. I like Danny DeVito. Colin Farrell, I actually also didn't mind, but yeah, much better than this freaking thing. This numbnuts of a remake. And like I said, this is much better too. And especially if you want to bring James Earl Jones back, for the nostalgia rights, well, I can just bring all the original actors back. I mean, even in this film. This sequel, at least Matthew Broderick came back, Nathan Lane, too, and Ernie Sabala, and forget the actress name who voiced Nala as well, and James Earl Jones came back for the little role he had as Mufasa's spirit. I think the same actor who voiced Rafiki too, but not Rowan Atkinson. A different actor voiced Zazu instead of Rowan Atkinson. So majority of the voice cast of the original movie came back for this. But if you want to go for like a straight shot-for-shot remake of this movie, an exact duplicate, why not just have all the original actors come back? Well, it's just like Matthew Broderick. He's not doing anything right now, for what I know. And neither is Nathan Lane. So I just what more can I say about this goddamn film? It pissed me off so much because I think I haven't been inside. I haven't been more inside. I have not been more pissed off in a long time because the fact that this is one of my all-time favorite films slash Disney films. Not only is it a childhood favorite of mine, classic. I mean, it's a masterpiece. That's what makes me more offended about. Anyway, because I'll just make my throat freaking dry. Oh my god, I'm just so exhausted right now. Just taking like every bit of energy out of me for just talking about this freaking thing. Because I don't need to explain that this is because it's the same freaking movie. I just watched the same freaking movie, but in live action CGI land. Yeah, give me a second here. Yeah, this film is making me stiff too right now. So yeah, I don't know what more can I say about this movie, but it doesn't matter what my opinion matters because this film has already made money already. It's gonna make over $1 billion, and then it's another big hit wonder for Disney as well. It just sucks because I love Disney. It's just how far they've gone. Because, well, yeah, there's Marvel films I liked. Yeah, of course. But I hate the freaking Star Wars films they've been doing. It was a mistake for them to do that. To buy freaking Lucasfilms. And now with freaking 20th Century Fox now. Because now Disney wants to be the top king of the world now. They want to buy everything. They want to be yeah, literally, they want to be king of the world now. Top of everybody. But, for as I know, well, they've already succeeded. I know Rise of Skywalker, that's going to make money. I'm not going to bother to seeing it because it's going to piss me off more because for the stuff they added into it. But yeah, this is like one of the worst. This is one of the worst remakes I've seen in a long time. Just has made me more pissed off and more. Like I said, Dumbo I find it much better. Even Pete's Dragon, because I like Robert Redford, and I like Carl Urban. I was even say the 2016 remake of Pete's Dragon is better. Christopher Robin is better. From last year, Christopher Robin with Ewan McGregor. That's much better. What other ones? Can't say much about the 2016 Jungle Book movie because I've fallen off of it now. Yeah. I don't know more I can say. I'm stopping because I'm just be repeating myself, talking about the same freaking things over on the subject here. This film has already got me so exhausted now. Gives me a freaking headache. I know my face freaking hurts because I slapped myself because I wanted to wake up out of this nightmare. Cause yeah, this film has literally caused me physical pain right now. It literally is. This film has caused me to have physical pain. In my head, and also a physical pain in my soul right now because one of my all-time favorites. It's just, bottom line is, this film is heartless, soulless. No magic at all that doesn't come at what the original film had. Everything is the songs. It's just the songs and the score by Hans Zimmer and Elton John and Tim Rice. It's just rehashed. It's just been rehashed. Man, what more can I say? I'm just repeating myself all the same things. Yeah, like I said, great visuals, but it doesn't save the movie. And the facial give the animals should have gave them, not just a blank, boring stare of a face. Yeah, you all know, I guess, that their faces are just because they're such real animals. They don't have, they can't have like the emotional, facial stuff that humans have. Then what was it that gave it so impactful in this movie? Then, huh? Their facial expressions, like I said, the terror look in Simba's face when the stampede was coming, or the death of his father, or when he was crying when it lay next to his father, or the enraged look when he called out Scar a murderer. They need to have emotion to them. They didn't have no emotion in all this movie. Nothing. So, yeah, as of right now, this is the worst film I've seen this year. This is the worst. I will even say another thing. Detective Pikachu, Pokemon Detective Pikachu, is much better than this movie, and I love that movie. Because I said that what they had a passion that, like I said this was a project were passionate about. It was a passionate project that they put into making the movie. I can see that the film they gave their heart into making this movie. That film I would say had more heart to it than this movie. Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu, he was good, really good as Pikachu. I'll even say that, like I said, I already said my stuff about Justice Smith, like he was in Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom, but I said before his performance in this was much better improved than that film, though. But him in general was much, as Tim Goodman was much better character than anybody in this remake. U2 was a much better villain. Well, technically, he wasn't a villain to begin with. He was just taken over by Bill Nighy. So, but Pokemon Detective Pikachu is much better than this numbnuts of a remake. Yeah. All that stuff I said are better than this movie. So, and plus I haven't done a freaking epic rant. I haven't done an epic rant like this in a long time, so. And this film is deserved because, like I said, it offended and assaulted me. But as long as their live action remakes keep on making money, Disney's gonna continue doing more. And now after seeing this movie, I'm not interested in seeing the Mulan movie. I'm not. And speaking, this film's gonna make $1 billion. And I also read recently that Aladdin made over $1 billion as well now. As long as they're making money, which is basically it's all about, it's the money, of course. It's always the same thing as usual. It's always about the money. So as long as they continue making money, they're going to continue making more remakes of the classics. So after seeing this, I'm not interested in seeing Mulan now. I'm not. I was a little bit I'm not sure, but after seeing this film, no. No desire to. But yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this big rant on this movie. Heartless and soulless. No magic at all. Just watch the original instead. That's what it is. It's the same freaking movie as the original. It's shot for shot, beat for beat, except for the little changes that I said. But it's basically a live action version of a beat for shot for shot remake of this. Just watch this and sit at home. You'll get the same movie as this movie. Just watch this at home. You have a lot more fun with it. And I even recommend, watching this too. Watch this over that. And even, yeah, this film did something. It took a little different route with this movie, but honestly, I definitely like this better than The Lion King. So, just pointing out there. And that film didn't make the money what this film did. But I hope you enjoyed this rant, this big rant on this movie. Screw this. As of right now, since it offended me so much, this is the worst film I've seen this year. It is. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and stay tuned for the next video. And now I gotta go rest now, because I'm in physical pain right now. But take care, and see you on the next video. Later.